of Adam King. Abdul King?
Adam Abdul King.
Okay, but formerly known as Larry Davis. Everybody calls him Larry Davis in the white media. So you all know who they're talking about. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is ask you what got you here in Riker Islands in the first place? What happened?
Well, essentially, myself and several other youth who was involved with a drug ring that involved police, DAs, and information I just received, which indicates judges as well, from whom other individuals who were part of the drug ring, meaning youth, are coming forward to expose the judges who have been taking bribes, such as Judge Stephen Barrett. However, myself, Ricardo Burgos, who was involved with a drug ring from youthful age, which is essentially stemmed of me being here today, and as a result of us being involved with that drug ring, this is why I am here today, rather.
And so I see that you're in a wheelchair. How did you get in that wheelchair?
Well, it was from a savage beating by sadistic correction guards here in Rikers Island, where I was attacked in HDM and brutally attacked there and attacked here in NIC, which resulted in me being in this wheelchair. They paralyzed me from the waist down from my spinal area.
Do you think there's anything that can help you walk again?
Well, I have several doctors examine me, and the doctor essentially said he don't know, Bellevue doctor said they don't essentially know what's the problem. But they can't say scientifically that I will be able to walk or that I can walk or something of that sort. They can't say it. However, the independent doctors in which I had, they stated that maybe there is a possibility, but I would have to get out of here and be in a hospital to undergo several tests, and corrections has not afforded me the option to do so. At the present moment, I am still in a wheelchair. As you can very see, that's essentially what has taken place in this situation.
You know, a long time ago, they knew you as Larry Davis, and you say your name is Adam Abdul King. Where did the change come about, and how did that come about?
Well, before I even was incarcerated, I was practicing Islam, but I wasn't into it when I was in the street as I am into it now, much as I am into it now, rather. My name, I changed my name here when I was in prison, since I've been in prison. That was in 1987, and I had changed it then. At the present moment, I carry that name, because it means lifeblood, servant of the wise.
Okay. What are you learning here under that name and under Islam?
Well, I essentially learn truth. That's all that matters. And here, you can't learn nothing but you can't learn nothing from the enemy. But in terms of learning about them, that's it. But I essentially learn a lot since in terms of my own self-education.
Are you reading books?
I read constantly.
That's very good.
I essentially do a lot of cases. I don't work for a system in the library here, but I do it as a part of the concern to help brothers, and I essentially help others work on their cases and stuff. I do a lot of that legal reading and stuff and research for prisoners.
Yeah, so are you reading up on anything that might help get you free out of here?
Oh, yes. That's without question. I mean, I'm reading up on a lot of material that will eventually help me in the long run.
Yeah, when do you think you'll be free? I know you feel you're going to be free, but when? How long do you think it'll be? Before 2000?
Well, what happened is that the last case I was essentially where I was railroaded in, the judge had forced an all-police jury onto the case. Out of a panel of 1,000 prospective jurors, we picked 16 out of that 1,000. But essentially the whole 1,000 were all related either to correction guards or police, detectives, FBI, even some in the White House were related to people in the White House, cousins who were CIA, and I mean out of the whole 1,000 and the people who were in the panel. Now, see, it was a mass conspiracy to draw this type of jury panel. What happened is that how they get this panel of jurors, because they couldn't pick them so easily like that unless they had information on these people up front. And the way they got this information from our discovery in terms of what we investigated and the way I conducted, had my investigators conduct an investigation into this situation, when we found out how they managed to get these individuals was through petitions in which, in the police case, in which they had selected these people from. What happened was, like, the petitions in the police case, when I was acquitted of the police case where I defended myself against 9 police, it was 35 police, but it was 9 alleged to be wounded by the gunfire which I had shot off.
Yeah, you can go ahead. Part of that's gonna be messed up because
Oh, okay. What's up?
Hey.
Now, what you want me to do?
Black man don't ride.
Can you stop that?
The way he had wired it in there is a wonder. I told him, man, I don't know if that's gonna be able to stay like that, but it had to be moved. Okay.
So the people, what happened was the 1,000 prospective jurors was selected through a petition in which the police submitted. In the police case, where we all submitted, the police submitted theirs and I submitted my petitions, where that the petitions was stating that I submitted, essentially stating that I should be released rather than doing the 5 to 15 for the gun possession. And the police submitted signatures from everybody, such as those individuals who were of that 1,000 prospective jurors who sat on the last case. And what they did, now this was in '88, and what they did is they took this prospective jury paper and they located each and every one of those individuals who were related to the police, and they used the petition paper in order to select these individuals for the last case. Because it was impossible for them.
Well, if they had let you free, you wouldn't be allowed to sit here and tell us the story today if they had let you out. Because, see, you couldn't have been just left back up in the Bronx anymore, because they out for you.
Well, you see, I essentially say that I would say this way. I essentially say that I believe in that saying, like Kumo D says. He says he never ran from the Klan and he shouldn't have to run from the black man. And I essentially say I never ran from the Klan and I'm not running from the policeman. So if I was in the street, it's not that I'm saying I'm impossible to get, but I'd rather take my chances there than to take my chances here.
Well, I know that seems very easy and everything. The only thing is I don't know, if I was in your shoes, I would want to get the hell out of the country. And because being here, because your face went on all 50 states. Everybody knew you.
But see here, this is like being in the belly of the beast, and this is worse. And that means he didn't swallow me, and he got me in his stomach, and I'm rolling around in his stomach. But see, but what I believe is that if I was in the street, I think it's impossible that brothers would stand by whom I work with and who know me very well. I doubt very much if they would ever be able to do what they want to do. I think they would get away with it. And I feel I'm not even worried about that. That's the last thing that's on my mind.
Just to kind of lead you a little bit off the path now that black people are kind of waking up. They understand that they have a fine history. And they now know that a lot of the people being killed, we go to L.L. Bumpers, we go to Yusuf Hawkins, there's so many of them, they Iman Smallwood, you know, I can go on, Griffith, and now Sandiford, because in a sense they killed him.
Yeah, and that brother in New Jersey who this cop shot him back.
Fidel, yeah. All these people getting killed and stuff like that. What do you think that people are going to do? Do you think they'll keep sitting back and letting this happen?
Well, see, me, and I understand it, you know, the psychology these people use, and had I not been involved, you know, with them personally and not known how they work and function, then it would be impossible for me to respond. But I think under the theories and methods these people use, you know, it's going to be hard for black people to essentially rise and not be either assassinated themselves.
Why is it so hard?
Because see, you got the powers in the white man's hands, but that's only because we allow it to be in the white man's hands. Because
you just said it. Because you just said it. When you say it, you know, they say power in the tongue.
That's why I said it.
You just
we
said
allow it. We allow it. I don't say just I, you know, but me. If it was me, you know, it wouldn't be. My own philosophy in terms of it being in their hands now, it wouldn't be. Because, you know,
we have allowed it.
Everybody got an ace, you see, and I feel that it's important that, you know how to hold it and know how to unfold it when it's time to, you know, and I learned a lot about that. And sometimes people just don't think when they speak, and then they find themselves in more trouble than they believe.
So, what do you think? What is your future thought on the year 2000? What do you see us? What position we gonna be? The same one?
I think we would be in more of a critical condition than we are today, because I mean the city is going down and down and down. Not because
we're going to be in the more critical.
I believe so, because see, not only that people are not, black people are not awake. You got Latinos and blacks who are not awake, but when this government, such as this situation here involving prisoners, a lot of guys say, oh, they're criminals. They'll say, and they're labeled as criminals. And a lot of times I tell brothers, I say, if you really knew how this government functions, you would not call yourself a criminal. I mean, because 9 out of 10, if you look at the statistics of how you are confined, how these brothers are confined, and what reasons they are confined for, the crimes they alleged to have committed, which are essentially either selling drugs or either robbing people. And you ask them why, or either ask the prisoners why they are in here, they'll tell you mostly those two reasons. And you ask them why did they do it, and some will even say, well, I did it because I needed money to survive. Now, if you look at the fact that the government, whom we as people supposed to appoint as from a vote, you look at the statistics where that the government don't act responsible, and that people who she's a correction officer, but essentially they like I was saying, the government whom we supposed to appoint from votes does not essentially take upon his responsibilities as one who is in power and whom we vote in. And because of that, such as depriving people of the proper education, mostly blacks, you got a lot of school teachers who don't do what is required to do in schools.
Well, don't you believe we're in a war?
Yeah, but see, it's a genocidal plan.
We had to fight it from all fronts. We had to get it from the economic. We had to get it from the security, in other words, security of our home neighborhood.
Yeah.
We had to get it from all angles. You can't just get it from one thing. And everybody's not going to go on the front line. Some of them.
I know exactly what you're saying.
You're good for the front line because you showed that you went on the front line. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay. So, but what I'm saying, right, if you understand the way this genocidal plan worked in terms of this government, I mean, it had this government provide certain jobs to a lot of these individuals, because I know a lot of these brothers would work, you know, and they would function, in terms of their ability to do their job. However, if you look at the statistics of how many is in here for the crime or either trying to get gain monies, you would find that they either did it because they was forced to rob. Now, you don't have to be forced with gunpoint in order to have somebody rob them, but you can force them mentally, because if you deprive them of certain things such as education, jobs, something of a sort for disability people, disabled people such as that, and illiterate people who cannot go into an office building and work and do a job as you or me or something of that sort, then what you're left to do is you determine the welfare, and then welfare only provides them with housing, if so housing, but sometimes they don't even provide them with that. And then what they do is they turn to what is known as a mental force, where they are forced because of the government's failure to provide these type of jobs. They're forced to run out, either sell drugs or rob or steal, and then this is where they end up at. But it's a part of a conspiracy, a genocide conspiracy.
Oh, yeah, I've been here, I've been in this world a long time, and I understand the feeling. You know, I know they've been getting us long ever since I've been here, you know, and I remember the school system and how you gonna go to school. And, you know how things go. And it's time for our people to finally wake up, stand up as a unit. Yeah. That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing.
That is the whole thing.
On the key of waking up, I have a question. I'd like to know what faction of Islam are you? Because it's like, I found out it says there's like this Shantae, this
Sunni.
And you're Sunni?
No. I'm American Muslim. So, and I don't say that as saying American African, because I don't believe in that saying, because that's like saying if your mother was having you in a plane and you was coming from Africa and she was birthing you in a plane, that means and she's over the ocean, what do you call yourself then? The ocean or the Atlantic Ocean or something like that.
So the African is
I'm an African, which is also known as African land. And that's the proper letter that
you do accept your African background?
Oh, no question. No question. I don't reject that.
Yeah, because they have like some of
no question.
No, some of the Muslims, they don't identify.
I practice Islam because I find truth in it. Had I not, I would not even consider it something that sounds more true than the next thing.
The only thing is that the American Islam, it seems to be a little on the fairy tale side, because they have so much respect for these Arabs. And these Arabs are not enslaved. They were the first ones that enslaved us. But first. And then the ones who, in many times, sold us to the Europeans to come over here and be our labor in many ways, So when you adopt an Arab name, you're still the same way as Hammond Williams or Smith is your name. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. We have to go back to our African roots. We have to go back to our African names. I know a brother whose name is Dawood. His name, and a brother from Africa said his name is Dawuda, not Dawood. Dawood is the Arab way. And you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I understand exactly.
That's it.
Yes, I agree with that 100%, and sometimes we forget where we come from, and that's because of the lack of knowledge of ourselves. And like Carter G. Wilson said when he wrote that book called The Miseducation of the Negro, he wrote in 1930, he said the main problem facing people of African descent is the fact that we were victims of miseducation. So we were taught to respect the scholarship and the background of someone else with total ignorance of yourself. And because they don't teach you about yourself, then you're miseducated because you only learn about someone else rather than yourself, when you should learn about yourself. That's like the Prophet Jesus said the same thing. He essentially said the same thing. He said, "The kingdom of God is within you, know thyself." So if Wilson said, Carter G. Wilson said that, he made it clear in that perspective where that you should understand yourself, respect yourself, your culture, and know where you come from.
Right. That's true. At least he got his head going in the right direction. I'm happy about that.
It's something that I take with me all the time. I'm getting a toxic Bible, but for less to do anything else, but that's the picture of Jesus.
They always say
The Africans and the black.
well, you know, it's an Arab here that an Arab, Nosea, the one who's alleged to have shot that Rabbi Kahani, the Jewish guy. He accepts the fact, and most of the Arabs in the Middle East accept the fact that Jesus was black.
Yeah.
And a lot of prophets, most of all of them.
Well, you
Since we
look
all,
at the Arab language.
oh yeah, they have
They
pictures.
just the shame of it.
No, see, what it is that they come to this westernized world over here, and they get hypnotized and they get westernized. So
Look at the
then
thing
they
that
start
happened in
acting
Iraq.
like conservatives.
Look at the thing that happened in Iraq. Now they were standing up against these Arabs, right? And see, everybody figured, well, we won't join Hussein. You know, see, it wasn't even all about Hussein. What he's about him? Because they had come there to get the beast out of their area. Now they're going to be with this beast here in this area now. You know,
See,
beast ain't left.
I see. I have a serious problem. Not as to I respect Saddam Hussein's stand against the greatest enemy of all time. No question about that. You know, and I had a lot of problems with the fact that a lot of them who didn't respect Saddam Hussein because of what he alleged had done. Media hype, and of course what they alleged that he had done to Muslims over there. Sometimes like dropped a bomb and poisoned water in order to kill 10,000 Muslims. I said, if that is so, Allah is his judge. At least as Muslims cannot judge him. You see what I'm saying? Allah always says, hold your brother's hand when he is in trouble, no matter what the circumstances are. Hold his hand. So if you don't hold his hand, then you're going to find your brother being killed. Then you're going to have to you suffer for it. You suffer in the long run, because that'll hurt you down the road.
Because see, that's why I'm saying they should have come along with him, not for him, not to agree with what he was thinking about, but to keep their own eyes on their area. You don't need a foreigner to come in and run your area.
That's right. But see, in Islam is one. You see, Islam is one in terms of unity, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's one issue I'm talking about now. In terms of speaking on unity in Islam, now this is a topic that all Muslims speak on. They talk about unity. Mm-hmm. Now, my problem is this: Saddam Hussein, whether people accept it or reject it, the fact is that he had just as much right to claim that of Kuwait because it was a part of Iraq. However, when you look at the fact that Bush
and that woman,
this not only the woman, but you got Secretary of State, what's this guy?
Baker.
Baker. He had a major investment in that oil over there. Most of them had major investments in it, and so it was essentially died to keep the oil for their person, not so much as to provide for us over here who need oil. Then they use this psychology, we're going to give y'all all the people who are involved with the army need oil, we'll give y'all oil. And then people go for it. You warm up your houses while y'all over there fighting to keep the oil. I mean, as in Islam, Muslims believe in one. True Muslims are supposed to believe in one. They're supposed to accept the fact that anything is his, is his. That's the way it's supposed to go. Not as far as your wife or something of that sort. But I'm saying in terms of brotherhood and sisterhood and things of that sort, had those who were practicing truly over in Iraq, Kuwait, either Sudan, or Turkish, things of that nature, it would be clear that all that of the lands in speak about Palestine, Kuwait, Iraq, Iran, all those countries would be as one. We want control by
That's
one
what it's supposed to
government.
be, but
It's
it's
supposed
not.
to be. Yeah, that's because the Europeans went in there and they wanted to westernize theories. Let's separate this and separate that. We control this, we control that. One Saddam Hussein was controlled by this administration here in America. So now he's on his own, and now he's got to deal with the repercussion, which, the foolishness that this government is putting into it.
Well, now
Do you have access to Black history books, and are you studying Black history at this time?
Yes, definitely. I read a lot of books. I read a lot of Malcolm books. Any Means Necessary. Malcolm. I read W.G. Moore's books, Marcus Garvey books.
what about destruction of life?
Chancellor Williams? Do you have
By Chancellor Williams. I had that book. Police stole it, and I never got a chance to read it. I had gotten it, and then I went upstate because these police here, they'll steal your books. They're thieves. Just because you wear blue, that don't make them look thieves.
Well,
How are you as far as being able to practice your dietary laws? What are you doing as far as your diet is concerned?
And in terms of food,
Yes.
well, I don't eat a lot of this food here because some you got certain prisoners that cook it, but the Muslims cook the Muslim food. I usually eat that.
that was keeping the weight on you because you're not.
No, I'm a natural build.
Huh?
I'm a natural build.
You're a natural build.
I'm natural. All my brothers are.
Oh, okay.
I'm a natural. That's what I say.
Well, I look
You have a
forward to
large
the day you go
family,
again.
Yeah, me too. I play
Yeah.
it all out.
You have a large family. How many sisters and brothers do you have?
It's 15, I believe 15 of us. It's a lot of them. I'm trying to count them all. It's 15 of us. 15.
Is your mother still teen?
No, excuse me. Two
It
questions.
said 15. Excuse me, I know we're running into this. Is your mother still
Yes.
living?
Yeah, oh yes.
I met
And
her.
how is she now?
She's all right. She had a mild heart attack just last Wednesday. It was small, because she had a history like she had 3 before. Matter of fact, it was 4 she had, because when the police burst in the house and tried to terrorize her, she had a heart attack, not knowing that they were coming in the door like that.
You have another
She's a church
brother in
going.
jail, right?
Huh?
You have another brother
That's
that's
in
Yeah, who was
incarcerated?
framed.
Yeah,
He was framed
of course.
by
They want to get
the
all of
police.
y'all.
No, it was not so much as get all of us. What it was they got them. My brothers, they got 2 of them, and they told them, if you don't lie on your brother and say he did this, that, and this, which they knew nothing about. They had their wives make in which they were trying to make them lie. They say, I'm not going to lie on my brother. I'll sit in here. You just keep the charges on me. And they essentially framed them in Drura, but their case is on appeal also. Matter of fact, it was heard last Monday, so we're waiting for the decision on that situation.
What are your other sisters and brothers doing?
Most of them working in things of that sort. One is her husband is a minister. He owns a big church out in Westbury, Long Island.
I got a question to ask you. What about the City Sun? Are you unhappy with the City Sun? Did they do you right or did you wrong? I read a big article on you.
Well, the City Sun
Then
is
your woman was in the following week.
my daughter, mother. Yes.
I mean, well.
Okay. Oh, no, the City Sun is a pretty decent paper, but I had a little conflict in terms of Peter Noel, who was writing an unauthorized book of my life story, and I did not approve of it, and this was being done as a part of what he wanted to do, and I believe the City Sun. But other than
Well,
that,
he's not with the City Sun.
now he's not. He's with the Village
Village
Voice,
Voice.
the Zionist paper.
Yeah.
And that's what he's with now.
What
That's
about,
Well, Dr. Jeffries, one of the things Dr. Jeffries teaches us is not to get mad, to get prepared.
to not get what?
Not to get mad.
Oh, only dogs
Prepared.
get mad. We can only
No.
get angry.
Uh-huh.
Not to get angry, but prepare. Oh, no question. You got to prepare, because if
And to stay within the triangle of
Look,
everything.
I have a question to ask you, please. Excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Well, what about Lenore Flanny and that group there? What did they?
well, Lord,
What happened there?
Well, that group, that alliance party, what
Being
happened
led by
there?
Fred Newman, everybody, and then
Yes,
LaRouche,
yes.
who's in jail. But
Well, she's what I call what that old famous saying is bloodsuckers of the poor. I mean that's essentially what they are. Yes, she's bloodsuckers of the poor. I mean her and those people she worked with, especially the attorneys, they give people money and don't do what is required to be done. You know, not only that, she raised a lot of money in my name and told me that she would split the money up with New Alliance. I agreed that she split it up with New Alliance and my coalition, two separate coalitions, because she had raised it. However, she then kept all the money, and that's when she was running for. She used it in that last government
campaign. She still calls your name out, you know, even now.
Of course she do. Cause this is her way, her philosophy, where people would say, oh, well, why would he talk about her if she's still calling her name, and make it look as though she's still doing what is required, you know.
Well, we know that the New Alliance Party is a lie. One of the things is that people in the community, we just have to make sure that people in the community don't become entrapped again by this sort of thing. Because the National Alliance Party, Dr. Fulani doesn't go any place unless she calls in. Fred Newman's always behind her. They got the noose around her neck, and Linda LaRouche is running the thing from prison. Yes. So, I mean, you know, this has nothing to do with our people. And
exactly.
It's really a shame that she has coerced so many people and taken them off.
And then, and not only that, you got a lot of prisoners who even complaining about it also to me, because they knew of her speaking on my case before on the Morton Downey show, when that TV show was on the air, and they had complaints about her before. They said, you know, that she's phony. You know, when they write to her, she never respond to their letters, things of that sort. Now, Lita would, if she not respond to it, have one of her secretaries respond. She don't do that. If she was real about our people, she would really be down to her.
You know, and then you stop and think about it. Here's a New Alliance Party. They have to have money behind them, because where else would you go? Put newspapers out in 50 states across the country, and the newspapers are free.
No, see what they do, like I said, like that famous saying, bloodsuckers of the poor, that's what they are. And when they take the poor people money, what they do is they promote themselves. Like in the newspaper, if you pick up one of her newspapers right now, without my permission, she has this magazine with my face on this pitch in that magazine. And it's there in that newspaper, and it's all, and every time that newspaper is printed, it's always there, still there. No, this is a magazine that's saying you can order this magazine for $20-something, $13-something, something like that.
I know which one, because I got it, and it got an article on you in this particular one.
And that she used me as the first individual to open up that magazine, so it's called Proby.
Well, have you gone to Sharpton and asked him?
No, I don't deal with Sharpton either. Sharpton dealing with them.
Listen, I want to ask you too a question. That since we're here today, what do you want us to do? What do you want? Do you something you want to tell the world? What's up?
Well, what's important is the community support. You know, I mean, the support is important. I think if people really were sincere about what they want to do, like I always tell one of my spokespersons, I say sometimes people are just saying it for money or something of that sort. And I say, if you're real and you're coming from the heart, then it's, you know, I would never have to worry. One thing I always say, I say, I can deal with anything the enemy do to me. No matter what the enemy do to me, I can deal with it. If you drag me, punch me, pop me upside the head, slap me or cut me, I can deal with all that. One thing I can't do is when my people fail me. That hurts me in the heart when my people fail me. I done shed tears over situations like that, you know, in terms of the people who would work with me, and then they do something that, and I said, no, it can hurt me, and then they do it anyway. And then I said, man, I'm gonna take total control of my own thing, and you know, who I want to help me with this situation, I'll ask them rather than let anybody do what they want.
At the present time, how are your lawyers? How many lawyers do you have?
Well, I have the lawyers I have now. They're supposed to visit today. That, you know, they will become my lawyers rather. I was seeking Chukwueze Lumumba He's a long-time brother who was part of it, and he's in Alabama. He's gonna fly up here. That's if I use him in this case, because he wanted to get on the case. But I was talking to these other lawyers, so I don't want to. Who was there first? I don't want to just knock them out the way if they were there first. But Chuck would know these lawyers also, so and they're in New York.
I want to do your life story. I really want to make a movie, and I have in my mind my very first movie is going to be Larry Davis. I won't tell it to you. Like I'm old enough to be a mom, so I can say Larry Davis. But Adam Abdul King. See, there's too many names and too much stuff. I can remember Larry Davis real cool. But I think your story needs to be put down on paper. And when you give me the green light and we sit down and write up our ideas and so forth, because I want you to write for me while you're in here. And I'm going to do some writing, then we compare, and then I'm going to write to you, send you stuff, you send me stuff in the mail, and let's get this story on film. You know what I'm saying? But we first got to write it out. You know, so I don't know anything about you as a child.
I'm not so much a script writer, but I'm a producer. But before I was even incarcerated, I was producing records and stuff. I have a couple records out also.
Yes.
Matter of fact, my entertainment attorney.
Thing too, which record I had just started my label. I'm starting my label, my record label, right?
Yes.
So you come on a label too, if you want to.
Well, I got stuff that's on the master tapes that's already produced that I did while I was out there.
It's already done.
It's already, what you have to be done is mixed down to the master tape and then to the record. It's on the master tape, the grandmaster. And then, from the grandmaster to the master to the wax.
Okay.
Because I have my own studio too, but now everything is broken down and not broken up.
Where's your studio? In the Bronx?
Yes.
Well, I have a record too that I'm getting ready to produce, a rap record that I'm making. But well, there's a lot of things.
How do you feel about wanting to have your life story told and a movie made of it? How do you feel about that?
Well, as long as it's a positive one and it's telling the truth, I got no problem with that. And that's my main issue. And it's got to be a message in terms of understanding so that other brothers won't get trapped off in this situation. Because a lot of brothers are sitting in here right now under the same situation. This involving my case. And they're sitting in here right now because they refuse to lie against me, and they're sitting here right now, and because they refuse to go along with the program anymore, and this is what they're doing. Matter of fact, it was two who was just killed last week. It was other ones who was killed. One of the ones who's sitting here now, his brother was shot just last Wednesday night by the police. One was killed, and his other one was shot in the back. He's in the hospital now.
Well, see, they got to make examples. You see,
exactly. That's what they're doing.
To control you is to make an example.
That's right.
If they shoot somebody,
to control the majority.
Yes.
You make an example out of all.
Because everybody's scared to die. And instead of knowing, like the old African way was to go on the other side, to die for something that's worth dying for. You're gonna die anyway, right? Everybody dies. Ain't nobody here forever.
That's right.
As the saying goes, if there's nothing new under the sun, then this means that as your spirit leaves this body, it will happen enough. And you will continue to live, and the things that you've done will continue to go on. But you are the one that has to set up this life pattern so that in your next life, you can live it as you see fit.
I agree with that 100%. And it's important to understand where you're going when you leave. You see, and I believe in that saying that Malcolm said that. Yeah, huh?
Do you remember your date of birth?
Yeah.
I'm talking about, do you remember when you came in, what it was like? I mean, actually remember.
Well, actually remember when I was born.
When you was born.
Came out of my mother's womb.
Yeah.
I don't remember that, but my mother remembered because that was the pain of her life, part of the pain of her life.
She's going to tell you about it so to make you remember. But you personally did not remember it on your own.
Oh, well, I know as in terms of what she said. You know, and I only inquired about it a
Just
little
like you
bit, not
don't remember the day you was born, you're gonna remember the day you died. Think about it.
But see,
your spirit will know, but you won't know.
my spirit, though, right? No, well, that comes as a part of the subconscious mind. The subconscious is a memory and story.
Right.
So all that in which has happened in your life will always it would go back like a tape recorder rewinding, and then it goes up and back, and then that's it.
We're looking for a real good person who does hypnosis and can take you back to that time. You know,
past lives.
Even past lives.
Well, see, I don't believe in psychologists because, see, some of them.
I ain't talking about no psychologist.
Yeah, but these are the same type of people who do the hypnosis.
No,
Okay. They're not.
Because they're trained. They went to school and they were trained.
A person that is a psychologist, a person that has went to the European school and learned the European language. A lot of hypnosis, a lot of hypnotists have too. But we're talking about the people that are in the community, that's in the Tibetan community, that know how to do hypnosis to bring back past lives.
See, I'm giving you an example in terms of what psychology really is. See, it's just taking control of that person's mind right there and then. If you can take control of it right there and then. That's like saying if I said say, you see what I'm saying, and you respond say what? Then you said the word in which I asked you to say. So that is total control of anyone's mind in which they are responding, as long as you get that proper response. But my thing, let me just say this quick. My thing is that if a person who's under psychology or who claim to be a psychologist, they say, I believe that no one can solve your problem but yourself, and that a lot of psychologists who get all this money, I mean, you just look at it this way. What can a psych do for you that he may need done for himself? Let's say, for instance, if you going to see the psych may go see another psych to solve his problem if he has a problem.
Oh yeah.
So he cannot do nothing that he can't do for you, that he claiming to do for you. He can't do nothing for you that he can't do for himself.
We're dealing about psychology from a European perspective. I'm not coming from a European perspective.
Okay. I'm sorry, I apologize.
I'm coming from an African, Egyptian, African, and Kemetan perspective. This is where I'm coming from.
Okay. Yeah, but see, we so hypnotized to this European terminology. We live in a westernized society, so I mean, it's good to reflect upon that, and which has been in because if you don't know your past, you never understand the future. So it's good to reflect upon what has caused us to be in this condition.
You didn't expect to get this type of crew.
No, that's good. That's good. I like it like that.
Yeah.
I like it like that because see, it's good because you a lot of times men just take total control of women in terms of when they want to speak, they always interrupt them. So I give you that much respect that you're entitled to say what you got to say. But remember this: opinions are just opinions, not facts. You see.
Yeah.
We bring facts. We bring our facts with us because number one, we are.
No question.
We are the first world, so therefore we taught all about the mathematics and women being, the life force on this planet.
Yeah.
We're the ones that taught the mathematics.
She woke
We're
up.
the ones that taught agriculture. We're the ones that taught civilization.
She's
In the
right.
European sense, they would always cut off because their whole thing was Europeans were so insecure about their maleness that there was a male god. But in the Africans take in the whole. If there is a God, there is a God. Everything comes together, to form the whole. That's where we come from. Wow.
I respect that.
Yeah, well, see, we sit in classrooms like we go to school almost every day. We listen to Glenn Jeffries. We sit at the feet of Glenn Jeffries, Dr. Ben. We sit at the feet of Dr. Clark.
I'm making a distinction because there's two Dr. Clarks out here now.
Did the Jews threaten him? Glenn Jeffries?
Oh, yeah, everybody.
Brother, he is more well guarded than the Golden Fort now.
He's wearing, he got that wear bulletproof everything. He
Truth hurt, man.
Well,
Truth hurt.
well, the Jews and the Italians had come together to disgrace us back in the 40s in the film. You know,
Industry.
What's
Yeah,
up?
you look at Hollywood
fine
and come
queen,
here wrong.
What's
she
up?
she was just what they needed, just what they wanted. And then you had the brother that, you know, how they used to talk, you know, all that kind of stuff, you know.
The name of the book is Hollywood, an Empire of Their Own.
Yes.
And what they did to us in the movie business. You understand? We're gonna try to get some books to use, you know, so you can
Yeah,
check this out.
that would work. That would work. Because I read all kinds of material, but I mainly read a lot of the Quran and a lot of Hadith and a lot of legal work and a lot of other books when I have time to do it. Because I mainly be working. This ain't only four. I got like 40 folders brand new. I just use this raggedy one because the police, if they search it, they tear it up. I don't really care too. I care about it, but I don't.
There's
really
a book is
put
called
nothing,
Be
that's
Heal
expensive.
Thyself for Health and Longevity by Queen Ford. I'm talking about books.
Okay.
As I said,
We got a lot of
Queen
books. We're gonna see to it that you get it. Now, the next thing is that you don't like to go upstate. You like for them to keep you here in Rikers Island. What's up? What's
No. I don't like them to keep me in Rikers Island. What the torture I go through upstate is nothing different from this in which I go here on Rikers Island, undergo here on Rikers Island.
Why do they torture you?
Well, it's a part of a conspiracy to keep me hush hush. This interview wasn't supposed to take place today. None of this, in terms of me speaking out to the public, is to take place. You know, but in a sense where I know what they're planning to do. Like I told you when I first came in this door, I said, did you tell the man that you would set up a visit all over again if I had not come down on time? Because that's what they had told me upstairs. So they and believe me, it would not have taken place.
Well, they're trying to make you look bad because they said that you had a visitor and you had us at the same time, and you had to make a decision.
Yeah, because there's no decision you have to make. Only thing you have to, the decision I think they're referring to in terms of making a decision is to say which one you want first, which one. But I'm entitled to both visits. That's all.
Right.
So there's really no decision you really have to make. It's just a matter of who go first, who goes last. You know. So that's what essentially took place. I said, well, I'll do the interview first because they were saying no, you can have your person. So they shipped her in here before y'all even got in here. And I think y'all came at the same time. And they put her in here first so that this interview would never have taken place.
Well, they don't even know what this interview's on first.
Well, anytime you speaking out against corruption and brutality that's going on under people, brothers and sisters going through in these prisons,
You
it becomes a
didn't
problem.
have to.
Not even here only, but upstate as well. Prisoners
You
are
didn't
being
really
beaten.
have to be here in the first place. Why? Why did you give yourself?
Well, it wasn't so much give myself up at first. It was a time where I said that I should not, like I stated before, I didn't feel it was necessary to be running around. I'm not going to be running the rest of my life. I want to enjoy this planet as much as I can, just like anybody else.
Did you regret what you did, or
So, not so much because I'm in the.
You glad you in here?
No, I'm not glad I'm in here, but I'm glad I got a chance to let people know what the real deal was as opposed to what these Europeans have interpreted in that white press. You see, because had I not came and spoke on these issues, this would have been a dead issue and I would have been in another country and then they would have sent either FBI, CIA to try to smoke my boots. So no matter what way you look at it, I would have, I look at it where I know that's how they would work and that's how they function because I know how this government functions. As long as I know that, I know what to do, how to do it.
They tried to say that you held the child at bay, the woman.
Oh, that was a lie. That was a total lie. Matter of fact, I was never charged with none such thing. In fact, the sister was married to a cop, you see, and her husband was a cop. And not only that, but she opened the door to a friend who was at the elevator when I came up the staircase. And I told her who I was, and she said, "Oh, come here, brother. We respect you and this and that and this," and took me into the apartment. She said, "Come on, go with my friends. This is the last floor, so you can't go no further up. Come on in." And she took me right into the lady's apartment, her friend's apartment, and she told her who I was. And the sisters was very pleased to have me just in their presence, and it was shocking to me, and then I found out that the woman whose house I was in, she goes to my mother's brother's church.
All right.
So, and her husband was a cop, and when he came home, he even respected the fact, that, what happened after I explained it to him. I explained it to them, and the sister was praying, but she was a church-going sister, and, she was praying and hoping, sitting there, making sure these pigs didn't run up in the house and try to murder the kids.
Well, what happened on that horrible day? I can't remember the date, like
December 6th, in terms of my surrender?
No, going back.
November,
back now.
November 19th.
It was November 19th?
1986.
5 more minutes? Okay.
1986. Oh, well, what essentially happened there was that the police burst in my sister's home, and there was children in the back room, 2 of them. One, when they fired at me, one was like on the floor already playing with his toys and stuff. The other one was in the bed, the way I recall, and when they fired, I fell right on the kid, and the bullet had grazed me here. The slug, when they fired the first shot, if you can see it here.
Let me get a close up on that.
It went right there. It would have hit me right in the middle of my head had I not been short.
Okay.
At that point, I then fell to the floor, and when I fell, I turned like if I was dead, and I was on the kid, and the lady already told me to fire one of the police who was there, and when he fired, I fell to the floor on the baby, who was on the floor playing with the toys, and then.
Let's say the baby's life.
Of course, because what I did then, they was getting ready to shoot me again. I pushed the baby. Luckily, the light was sort of dim. They didn't see me come up, and I remember it was one of the guns were under the mattress, and it was right there on the curb, and because I had just put it there, because I was standing right next to the baby stuff. And then that's when they busted the door, and I grabbed it, and when he got ready to shoot me in my head, I pushed the baby. It was so fast, everything just went fast.
Yeah,
He flipped me over and got ready to shoot me with the shotgun, and then I fired and stuff, and that's how.
Shame on you.
One thing about it.
They had bulletproof vests on. I wasn't playing with them. I knew what I was doing, and to tell you the truth, I believe Allah blessed, something blessed them, because these was explosive bullets. One got shot through the mouth, came out in the back of his neck, and still living. One got shot in the head, and one got explosive bullet blew the whole set of teeth out his mouth. So it was.
Do that?
And the tongue blew through the tongue. All of them lived. 9 of them got shot. It was 35. Yeah, 9 of them. It was 35 of them though.
You are the one that is truly blessed, because you are the one that has to tell the story.
Oh yeah.
No one can tell the story but you.
Yes.
You must tell your story.
Yes.
And it has to be told everywhere. Also, so that young people realize that we as black people and people of African descent are in a war.
It's important
as
that
the
young
forces
people
come together, the spiritual forces, see, we could, as you say, putting the whole together, using our spiritual forces with our energetic forces, and together we do this, we can win.
And it's important that brothers, and it's important that brothers understand self-defense, because I mean, when you face a deadly physical force,
everyone has the right to self-defense.
That's right. But see, the white man don't believe that. They don't believe that when it comes to the black man. Just get shot up, beat up, murdered, and the whole 9 yards. So, but if you maintain.
We thank you for your time, and we'll definitely make sure that the story gets out And we want to see you again.
Oh, that'll
So
be
you can
good.
tell
This one-
more of the story.
This particular film that we're going to do, we're more or less loose. I want to make you relax. I want you to get comfortable. This, we're not really going to do that much with this. But the next one is where we really begin. And I want to come down and see you if I can on a weekly basis. You call me again?
Yeah, oh, no question.
Okay, now, this Roman guy, he's not that hard for me to work with.
This dude, this guy?
The Spanish guy.
This the one who was on the phone with us that day?
Yeah.
Oh, don't deal with this dude. It's the one named Tom
But
Antonio.
I can deal with it. Come on, let me.
I'm saying if you can't, but see, you can get more hours in here in terms of interview. You deal with this guy here. He's playing games. See, this is the game they play with you. See, you going for it. See, he used this nice method with you, but in reality, he really didn't want you in here and really didn't care. But you see, but this is to show that they're not as hostile and arrogant and selfish as they really are.
He a victim too.
Well, see, that's the whole thing. These
They
people
don't realize
realize
him like he's
these
Caucasian.
people-
He's not Caucasian.
All these people working here, you know, so shame my black people don't realize that just because you're on this side
Yes.
and they're on the other
They got
side,
it made.
it's still a slave mentality because they got, you know, they got our so-called brothers and sisters working against our brothers
I
and
believe in that
sisters.
same method, right? And you know what? They know I believe in that same method. Where that I say, you know, a lot of these black officers here, and a lot of them I talk to and make them understand that your life ain't worth no more than mine because when you
Well,
signed that contract, they told you in that contract,
Yeah.
that 20-year contract they signed, it says specifically, if you get held hostage and a prisoner held you hostage, don't expect us to make no deals. The administration make no deals to have you get free. So if the prisoner kill you, your life just ain't worth nothing. So I said, why
You
you?
probably have to take a wife because they wouldn't, their life is no different, you know.
So they ain't gonna make no deal. So then therefore their life ain't worth nothing.
Nothing.
Are they gonna ship you back upstate?
Well, I'm about to face trial on this other thing. Right now, I'm trying to get, you know, churches involved and stuff like that. You have a church yourself?
We have Revelations now, Temple. We're an African worship and learning center.
Let me get your number and stuff. You know, I'm
Same number you call me.
Oh, you got the same number. Okay, that'll work. Okay, and I'll just leave there. Yeah, because I want to try to get as many people involved as possible.
Alright.
I want to do, I think, I don't know if y'all might want to get involved with it, but I want to essentially try to get this PLA place. It's one in the Bronx and it's one in Manhattan, like a school or something.
Yeah.
And there's this brother named Moore, Bill Moore. He got the Screen TV situation. He got Screen TV.
You got a phone number for him?
Yeah, I don't have it right here, but I'll leave it in the answer machine. And he got a Screen TV that, you know, when we do events, we, you know, call him and we bring it from him and do either defense funding or a situation where we can show this documentary. I got a documentary that's supposed to come out. It should be completed.
Al Hodge has it, right?
No, this is in California. It's in California. He have a copy, but that's a dub copy. This one is a master.
Okay, I want to do my thing. And so I want to set up a weekly thing coming down here and seeing you. Hopefully you don't go back upstate, but if you do, I want to be able to follow you. You know what I'm saying? And so that I can, I'm chewing on this because I'm trying to stop smoking. My nerves
Not
like
good
that,
for
you know.
And no matter how much involved in terms of me being involved with drugs, I never smoked or drunk alcohol in my life. Never.
Cigarette smoking. And I'm doing
I
good.
can't even
I'm chewing
breathe.
this to death.
When people smoke cigarettes, man, I can't even breathe. I don't know what that is, but I can't breathe. I can't take the smoke.
Well, see, it was just sometimes.
I almost got in fights because of that, because I tell people to get away from it.
I would have been pumping around. But the thing is that I really want to put your story together. I want to go through your childhood come on
your way.
I will put down the volume on each tape, you know, and so forth.
I don't know if you have ever been in touch with this young brother who started, I forgot his name, who did a movie called Out of Brooklyn.
Oh, I know the movie, but I don't know the person.
Yeah, that young brother, yeah, I would like him if he knew to work with you to do the movie.
Great.
Because I talked with Spike Lee, right? But Spike Lee, he has his own thing, and he told me to send him the transcripts he wanted to look at and stuff. But since he got his own thing,
he's important now. I think the brother out of Brooklyn or one of those other ones who have one movie out,
yes,
they're hungry. You know what I'm saying? So now let's go to this next venture. I would love to work with him. So make sure I get his phone number and then we go from there.
Yeah, I don't have his phone number. I'm my attorney probably because I got entertainment lawyers and
okay.
He's been talking with other movie producers over in California. But I told him straight up, if these white folks talking foolishness, I'm not dealing with it. That's why I know you've been out there. Now I have office, crazy office, but I refuse to accept it because I don't want to just deal with any white folks. You know, but then again, you sit back and wait for your own people to come do it. Then they just sit on their butt and don't do it. So that's why when Spike started doing my uncle's movie, I said.